Hey guys, my name is Spencer Coffman. Thank you for watching the Deception Tips videos. They're all about teaching you how to read people and detect deception so that you will be able to tell if someone is lying to you. Today, we are going to talk about a cool behavior that you're going to see on all areas of the body. It definitely involves the hands, as the hands are the reason for the behavior, because it has to do with making their appearance look a little bit better. And as you know, when people lie, they are concerned with their appearance. Why are they concerned with their appearance? Well, it is because they are trying to sell that lie to the target. They're trying to convince them of something. Therefore, their presentation, their delivery, their appearance, everything like that has to sell that lie. So if they come in and they're really happy and smiling and they say, "Oh, I'm so sad. I just lost whatever," whether it's some family member or some money or their car or their house, and they're laughing about it and they're smiling, you're going to be like, well, what the heck? That doesn't really match, because they haven't sold you that story in a convincing way. But if they come in and they're crying and they're devastated and they're very quiet and you say, "What's up?" and they say, "Well, I just had to put my dog down." Well, now you believe them a little bit more because their entire persona helped with that story. So this is about grooming gestures and body and how liars may kind of groom themselves, and there could be, again, a lot of different reasons for it. So here it is. This is deception tip number 55. Behaviors such as nail biting, cuticle picking, or other hand grooming gestures are indicative of tension and possibly deception. All right, so notice in that tip, it says tension and possibly deception. So they're indicative of tension. That is because when someone is, biting their fingernails, or if they're kind of working on their fingers like this, or picking their cuticles, or they're pulling the dead skin off their hands, or whatever they're doing, it looks like they're stressed or they're tense. You notice this all the time when things may not be going well. Typically you see it in females more than males with this nail biting, where like, oh, someone's not on time, so then they're sitting there kind of biting their nails, all nervousness, and it's going crazy. They're just biting one after another, and they're stressed, they're tense, they're anxious. Of course, you'll see it in men as well, and they're going to be doing the same thing in that stress or anxiety. So these self-grooming behaviors of picking their cuticles or biting their nails, they could be indicative of deception, but they are for sure tension, because you know that when someone's doing that, they're anxious, they have anxiety, they're stressed out about something, whether someone's late, whether they're telling a lie, whether they're worried about whether or not their story is going to be believed, whether they're worried about the consequence they're about to face. You name it, there's something going on that is causing them a lot of stress and anxiety. Therefore, when you see it, you need to be certain that there is some kind of stress or there is some kind of anxiety. However, you cannot be certain that there is deception. Could be deception, because when people lie, they do feel that stress, tension, and anxiety. Therefore, when you see this behavior, you need to take a look at the entire situation. You need to take a look at the context. You need to see what they were saying. How are they behaving? How are they acting? What is going on around them? Is the environment just completely chaotic? Are there kids running and swinging from the chandeliers and they're stressed about breaking something? Then that's perfectly normal. Is the situation calm and they're doing it? Well, then something might be going on. Look for those other signs of deception, the patterns and clusters of behavior. As I mentioned, this is a behavior that is 100% guaranteed to be stress, tension, anxiety, something like that. Therefore, rack your brain, look at the other tips, read the book, whatever the case may be, listen to the podcast, anything like that. Find those other behaviors that are indicative of stress, tension, anxiety, whether it is bouncing the legs or chewing on their lips or tapping their fingers or whatever type of fidgeting or stress or anxiety behaviors that we've talked about. Listen to those, watch those, pay attention to those, and then bundle them in with this one, with this self-grooming gesture, and see if you see other behaviors of stress and tension, then see what it was that they were talking about or what were they doing. If there are some similarities, then you know it's not a coincidence, and then something could be deceptive, so they could be lying there. As always, just pay attention to the context of the situation, use your discernment, watch for multiple signs of deception. If this is your first time watching these videos, I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Feel free to comment with any questions you may have. Also, if you'd like more information, we've got books, blog posts, podcasts, all available on spencercoffman.com that are dedicated to teaching you exactly what everybody is really saying. Until next time.